Welcome to What's Cooking Show, everyone. I'm your host, Chef Jason Huguet, right here at Steamboat Warehouse in Washington.
And I'm Crystal Landry, right here at Steamboat as well. Today we have a guest, Mr. Teal Guidry. He's been with us before, so he's back today.
Yep, I was here about 3 years ago when COVID first hit with Jason and Joey.
We
get a nice
dish.
Yep.
It was delicious.
Yep.
Well, y'all join us back for more What's Cooking. Welcome back, everybody, to the What's Cooking Show. Like I said before, we have Teal here with us today, and he is going to be cooking potatoes 2 ways. So I'm going to throw it to him and let him explain to y'all what he's going to be doing today.
Well, Jason and I had discussed this a couple of years ago about doing potato day. And one is the old-fashioned stewed potatoes, and we're going to do a potato salad with no mustard.
A unique one.
A unique one, and it's going to actually come out yellow because I was able, thanks to Scott Young, a friend of mine, he got me some country eggs.
And we were talking earlier how the country eggs, everybody knows the yolk in a farm egg is much more brighter yellow, deeper yellow, so that's what makes your color your mayo. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. You're right.
The color of your potato salad without using mustard.
Right. Don't know why, if it's what they eat, if it's because they eat, little crickets and stuff around the yard, but it turns it a much prettier yellow than the farm-raised.
Yeah. Or the store-bought ones.
Or the store-bought ones, exactly.
Yeah.
And what else we got?
The stewed potatoes, what I do is, if you notice here, I cut these a little smaller and cover the bottom of my black iron pot with cooking oil and a handful of chopped onions, bell peppers, banana peppers. And what I do for this, because I prefer it runny, I stew it and I stick it. I get it to stick real good, so
like
that it almost turns a brown, basically a dark brown. I cook it on a little higher flame.
Yeah, like you browning meat.
Exactly.
Right. So you basically, just like in a protein, you're basically caramelizing the natural sugars in the ingredients.
100%. And what you do is once you can actually start poking your potatoes and
tender.
And they're tender. Then I add water and I kind of just keep stirring and stirring until it makes like a
little simple gravy almost.
Sauce,
yeah.
like a sauce, a thick sauce.
And you're picking up all that off the bottom.
Right.
Deglaze.
Yes.
So that's what we're doing here. That's going to take a little while to do, but.
Well, it smells good already.
And then here on the potato salad, if you notice, we cut the potatoes, like a good sized potato, we normally cut them in about three potatoes, and then.
Nice little chunk.
Yep, and then we have our little skewer here, and then we boil them until, I never time it, but that's pretty much almost done. When you can poke it and it comes off like that, because you want your potato salad to still stay a little firm. You don't want it mushy.
You don't want mashed potatoes.
You don't want mashed potatoes.
Or cream potatoes.
Exactly.
You're looking for a potato salad, like chunky.
Yep. Perfect. And then I just throw my eggs in there because it takes eggs and potatoes about the same amount of time to cook.
I think everybody around here does the same thing like that. Like, put your eggs in as you do your potatoes.
And when I boil my potatoes, I just add a little bit of salt to it to give it a little bit of, because potatoes absorb all your seasoning, so it'll suck some of that salt in there to make it more applicable.
Let's talk about what you added before we came in on the show. The ingredients that you added, your onions, and what's all in there?
I have onions. I have homegrown bell peppers, homegrown banana peppers. I was going to put some shishito peppers in there, but they were too hot. So, and then I just put that at the bottom. That just like when you brown in meat and stuff, it just gives you your gravy, your flavoring.
Nice little pot you're using there.
Yep.
Looks like some of my old pots. It looks like it got a little history to it.
The history of this pot is my wife's grandfather from Abbeville. When I first got out of college, I went to work for my grandfather. He had a meat market, and we would go through 200 or 300 pounds of cracklings a week. Sure. Well, at the end of the day, when we completely sold everything out, the crackling, what we call grimis at the bottom, the little bitty bits and pieces, I would kind of shovel that in the corner and kind of strain it for him and get the salt out. And I would freeze, I'd get about that much every day. And I would freeze that for him every day. Well, when I had a good little sized bag, we would go visit him in Abbeville, and he would light up like you don't know. And he said, Teal, he said, man, I can't wait to put that in my cornbread. And this was the pot that he cooked his cornbread and couscous in. So what he'd do, he'd take a handful of that and he'd mix that with his his cornbread. And
that sounds good.
well, unfortunately, when he passed away, that was my present for doing that for him for so many years. I inherited that pot, which was as slick as a baby's
I bet. Over
bosom,
the years,
you know?
over that many years, decades.
Yeah, you can tell.
Possibly
I mean, you
more.
can tell on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually did that recipe on the show maybe a year ago, a couple months
Yeah,
back.
crackling cornbread.
Crackling cornbread,
Yeah,
and
we sure did.
I love that stuff,
Oh
man.
God,
Yeah.
it's you have to make sure you don't kind of take that salt off of it, but it's just adds
It's just
so
so
much
hard
flavor.
to find. The hardest part is getting the little grammies from the cracklings around
Well,
here. 'Cause I didn't want to sell it to you.
This
know,
was
it's
25 years ago, 28 years ago, and we were selling cracklings $5 a pound. Now it's $20, $22 a pound, so they don't actually give it away anymore.
No.
Yeah.
But so you can actually, at home you can't smell this, but you can actually smell it right now, and it smells delicious.
Yep. Yeah.
Just the potatoes browning on the
And
bottom.
as you can see, as the camera gets in close, you see, I'm just going to let it stick and see how it's getting brown. And it's kind of, you can see the potatoes are kind of slowly starting to break apart. And that's what's going to make you color. And my grandmother, this is her recipe, but she always said that if it stays a little light, you can always add just a little bit of kitchen bouquet, but the more you can brown it, the darker your potatoes are going to come once you stew them.
And of course, you want to do it on low. I mean,
Yeah.
like we talk
Yeah.
about, you
Yeah.
can't be one of those
Don't rush
people
it.
like me that cook on
Well,
high. I like to cook everything
At
on
the
high.
house, man, she'll have a pot of stew on full blast. It's bubbling out all over the stove. I'm like, you don't need to do that.
Hey.
And here she is talking about slow and low, like we do. We don't do that. We do that.
She needs to take that home with her, huh?
Remember that. I'm going to show you this clip every time you're doing that at the house.
And don't panic because it sticks to the bottom and you say, oh, it's not going to come off. Once you add, you'll see I'm going to add water later and it's going to come off and it's just going to layer off. So you see it's kind of sticking. Don't panic if it does that.
Is there anything in South Louisiana we like more than potatoes and rice? Like,
Oh, no.
you know, like
Give me a
sometimes
potato
we
every
eat,
day.
Sometimes we cook a dinner and people say, "Man, y'all putting starch on y'all starch." I'm like, "Yes, we sure are."
Well, you know, next door to us, we had some people renting a house, and they were from northern Iowa. And they said every time we would cook a potato stew like this, it would warm them up because the cold down here is so much colder than anywhere else.
The
Is that humidity, you know, it just... She said they could blow the snow off of their cars with a blow dryer. I mean, a blower, you know?
Yeah.
And down here, it sinks all the way to your bones.
Yes.
It goes all the way into you. And,
I know exactly what you're saying.
stuff like this, a
I feel
gumbo,
it.
a potato salad, I mean, a stewed potato, it warms you up,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, Teal, while you letting this cook down, I think we should probably take a quick break.
Yeah, we'll take a break.
Before we go, everything you see here can be found at your local Piggly Wiggly and Cash Saver, 8410 Highway 182 North, 1305 Heather Drive. Jason's looking at me because I know the phone numbers, 948-9427 and 948-8199.
So 948-8199 is for what location?
We have to take a break now, so we're going to let Teal cook.
I knew you didn't know it all the way.
But yeah, y'all join us back for
She's
more
gonna
What's
study that on
Cooking.
the break.
Welcome back, everybody, to the What's Cooking show. We have Teal here today. He's doing these stewed potatoes and a potato salad, and it's smelling so good. So why don't you tell everybody what?
Where we at?
Where we at?
Where we
Yeah.
Okay,
we
like I
stand.
said, I'm fond of a creamy potato stew because I love to put it on my rice. And if
I'm with
get
you
a
on that
short
one.
shot, I mean a close shot right here, it's kind of creamy, but I'm going to actually add more water to
Little bit at a time.
really soak it in.
There you go.
And now, Jason, if you want to scoop the smoked sausage,
All right.
we're going to raise our fire a little bit and what we call back home blooping.
Bloop, bloop.
We're going to warm that up because smoked sausage is
It's cooked.
it's cooked, and we're just going to warm it up. And then I'm
Get
just
that
going to
smoke
cook it
flavor
down
in there.
till there's very small chunks of potatoes. And as you can see, when I was stirring, I like to just chop it in half like this and just break it up. That's right. Just keep breaking it up so that it's a real consistent gravy, thick gravy. Mm-hmm. And then Crystal is going to do me a favor by peeling my eggs for my potato salad, and Jason's going to cut my my potatoes. As you see, I normally cut potatoes in 3 or 4 so that they don't come out mushy.
Yeah.
And Jason's going to cut them up like that in 4 or 5 pieces each, or in chunkers. And then I'll show you how we turn a potato salad yellow with no mustard. And I did add some of Jason's seasoning here, the Steamboat seasoning.
Boy, that's how you boil a perfect egg.
Huh?
Watch this. I mean, it's just...
And you know, it helps. I mean, I know it's an old wives' tale and an old Cajun, but if you can take your eggs out 2 or 3 hours ahead of time and get them close to room temperature, to me, they don't stick to your shell.
Right.
Which is the most aggravating thing. If it happens to you, good Lord.
I might as well throw it away. Sometimes I get so aggravated, I just want to throw it away.
I do throw it away.
Well, back to what you were saying earlier about we're going to make this potato salad today yellow with no mustard. I'm going to tell you, they had some old ladies in here last night that was telling that we were doing this in the show, and they were quite skeptical. I'm just going to tell you. They were like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, I don't either, but I'm going to see.
They got, like, how to watch the show and everything just to see that.
Yeah.
They said they were tuning in.
I'll watch this show. I'm going to show you.
It is amazing. It's like I said, it's all with the country eggs, and
that's the only way.
That's the only way to do it.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's smelling good, Teal.
Oh yeah, it's coming. It's
God,
coming.
it looks delicious.
Right, I tell you what.
I wish it was 30 degrees outside. We'd get a pot of rice and just eat it like that.
Well, at least we have a little bit of rain going on.
Well, we got it about 70 degrees in here, so.
It was awfully cold. I wore shorts thinking it was going to be warm, and it wasn't. Now, Crystal, if you don't mind just cutting the egg white off of it, and Jason will add that to his potatoes, and then just put my my yolk in there.
Okay.
Try to keep it as close to whole, but you don't worry if it breaks up. That's no big deal.
Okay, you got it.
And Jason will cut that up into little bitty slithers. Perfect.
Oh, wait. Well, we just gonna keep them separate for now.
You're not better than good potato salad, especially if you have like a gumbo or some fried fish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or as we're talking about, what were we talking about? Fish gravy.
Fish gravy. Yeah. Oh yeah, coubillon.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah. To me, a good red gravy fish coubillon, you have to have a potato salad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this potato salad, I'm sure some of the people watching visited Webster's Meat Market in Cecilia, because my grandfather had a meat market for 40 years. Our Sunday dinners, we made that was our potato salad, just like this. And it's, I mean, you'll see the ingredients after a while. It's basically 5 or 6 ingredients, which, watching the last segment, La Macaroni, that we did, it was 5 or 6 ingredients. The simpler, the better.
Yeah,
the simpler, the better. Especially like Jason. Jason and I know, we hunt. We go hunting in the afternoon. We get back at 5, 6 o'clock. You don't want to be dealing with 10, 12 different items. You want to make it as simple as possible and as quick as possible.
I feel like that's always been my philosophy. I feel like the simpler the ingredients list is on an item, a dish, the better it comes out, because everything stands out instead of
overwhelming with other items.
Right.
Yep.
Like etouffee, people put all this stuff in it, and
Crystal, if you don't mind, I'll grab a few of these, and Jason can start cutting these up.
You can put the other ones in here if you want.
Yep. And Jason, if you want to just slither those, and I'll show our ladies that came last night how we're gonna do our.
If we remembered all your names, we'd give y'all a shout out right now. But that was actually John Weibel, the state representative, was here last night with his family.
Alrighty.
Okay, Crystal, now the next thing we do is, if I can stand just a little bit so I have something, I take my fork, and all I do is I mash it. I just mash it, mash the yolk. Just mash the yolk until it comes out to, not a powder, but a granular,
really
a granular powder, you know, like kind of granular. You just mix it up like this. And you kind of stir it every once in a while just to break up your bigger pieces. Now, with this potato salad too, you can make it, I'll show you, you can make it different consistencies. You can make it creamy, or you can make it kind of chunky.
Yeah, depending on how you like it.
Depending on how you like it, exactly.
A little drier if you want.
A little drier, exactly. I like it. I like mine just a little creamier.
Yep.
Now, if you want to put it in and people like to put it in gumbo, so you may want to make it a little drier, not quite so creamy, so it doesn't kind of break up into your, which I don't understand why people put potato salad in their gumbo, but that's just me.
Yeah, that's the ongoing debate.
Yep.
You know, so for y'all out there that do love it,
I'm not knocking it yet, but it's just not for me. Alrighty.
I like mine on the side, and then I just spoonful for spoonful, I dip a little bit here and there. You know?
All right.
The great debate.
And
which we'll talk about more in the spring of 2024.
Right.
Yeah,
now, the next step in this is just vegetable oil, and I just put vegetable oil until I think it's going to be
good enough.
Good enough. See, and then all you do is stir it. Crystal, you want to grab the vegetable oil, and you can squeeze until I tell you when. Go ahead, squeeze some more. Yes, ma'am.
She doesn't follow instructions very well, so
okay, there you go. There you go. Now it's going to kind of thicken up and clabber up, just like this. Okay. Once you get pretty, just a hair more, Crystal.
Okay.
A hair more. There we go. Perfect. And then this here, Crystal, is our
holy water.
A little bit of this.
Teal's holy
they tease me the holy water, but it's actually just clear distilled. Just put a couple of capfuls.
I know it's gonna come out good from holy water.
Yeah,
right,
you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just go ahead and dump a little bit.
All right. We measure
a little more. There we go.
Here. We don't measure.
And I think that Jason, you can maybe answer that. The distilled, maybe just give it a little tang to it. I don't know, a little.
Well, it's giving you some tart, kind of like mustard.
Tart,
you know.
Okay. And this is the consistency you want, right there. And we don't want to waste any of that egg yolk. And then next is going to come the blue plate mayo. I didn't say the other word, Jason.
How do you pronounce the whole word?
Blue plate mayo.
Better known as mayonnaise.
Do we have a spoon,
or
Crystal?
mayonnaise.
Maybe I can get it out of here with this. Let's see.
Tomato.
No, that won't
look
fit.
here.
Oh, that's good.
We'll just
That'd be
use
perfect.
this. How about that?
Now, like I said, this is when you decide if you want it creamy. And we got about 3 pounds of potatoes there. So I'm going to go ahead and put about a little over half the jar. And before the end of the show, I'll tell you exactly what makes a good recipe, which is a dozen eggs, a 5-pound bag of potatoes, and a whole jar of blue plate mayonnaise. Done. It's perfect.
You almost, Stephanie, you hear that?
I know. She's going to butcher me.
You almost did it too.
She's going to butcher me.
Almost.
And then you just keep, just stir it.
Okay, I see a little yellow in there.
Crystal, do you mind getting me a little bit mayo, dear? A little bit more? I want to make sure we have enough because I don't want it too dry. Go ahead. One more little scooper there. Perfect. Thank you, ma'am.
Coming along.
You see? It is yellow, ladies. It is yellow. It's not mustard yellow, but it is yellow. Okay, Jason, I'm going to let you do the last segment, sir.
All right. Well, while you're doing that,
okay.
We're going to let you stir that up. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, Teal's going to show us how he's going to finish everything in plate.
All right.
So y'all join us back for more What's Cooking. Welcome back, everybody, to the What's Cooking show. Teal is finished up with his potatoes 2 ways, and him and Jason are actually going to start plating up and show y'all the finished product. And while they do that, he actually brought us these 2 little goodies to try, some Bullet Old Fashioned mix and Bullet Manhattan mix. So I kind of prepped it just for show purposes.
Just a good alternative, like if you had to camp cooking your potatoes, your stewed potatoes.
Right.
If you don't feel like buying all the different ingredients, it's actually cheaper to buy it like this, and it's easier at the camp.
Yep.
So anyway, we have a new bartender, and she's great, and everybody loves an old fashioned. She's actually tweaked ours, and we have some new menus that are coming out next week. So y'all come by and try Hannah's old fashioned. She doesn't make them with this. This is just for show purposes. But she makes like some lady said the other weekend, she makes a mean old fashioned. So that's that. And guys, why don't y'all start plating up y'all stuff?
Okay, and like I said, this is the stewed potatoes.
And look how dark it
I mean, I didn't add no kitchen bouquet or anything, and as you can see, it has a good consistency if you want to put it over rice. Jason, you want to garnish it with a little onion tops?
I want to do that. You do a little
That
parsley.
looks delicious.
Little parsley.
I mean, put that on rice, that's a meal.
That's a meal. I
man.
mean, and
But look the color of it, man, and the consistency. It looks amazing.
I know a lot. I've done it in Magnolite. If you do it in a black iron pot, it will come out a
gonna
little
come out
darker than a Magnolite pot. So if you can do it in a black iron pot, it, especially an old one, it will come out a dark brown. But don't panic. Let it stick.
Yeah.
Let it stick. Just add a little bit of water and just keep turning it, and it won't burn. I promise you, it won't burn unless you on high and you leave it.
I feel like that's the main thing, whether you can make it or screw it up.
Yeah.
know.
To me,
Well,
it's just like when
to
you're
put it
browning your
lightly,
onions in the
Jay.
gravy. I mean, you got to do it
Right.
right, you know. And then Crystal peeled my onion, my eggs for me, and Jason did all the potatoes and the cutting work. And you saw the mix, and Jason mixed it all up for me. And
So we have what is basically the consistency that I love in a potato salad. You see how it's chunky. You can see the color. I almost don't want to put any green on it because, you know, ladies, if y'all watching, it's yellow, okay?
Yeah.
And you kind of got me too because I was a little skeptical, I got to admit. So it's chunky. Like a lot of places you go to people's house and they did potato salad
Right.
for whatever it may be. It's just yellow creamy mashed
Yep.
potatoes.
yes,
And not saying that it's
there's
not
nothing wrong
good,
with that. There's
but
nothing wrong with that.
This is my style. We actually do it, Crystal and I, we boil our potatoes in some seafood boil and the eggs. And so we make it, we use a little mustard, a lot of mayonnaise, sorry. and
Go
then,
ahead. Wait till Stephanie sees us
No.
next time.
And then we put some, a little bit of our remoulade mix in it, and we serve it chilled, and it's amazing. So it's chunky like this.
Yeah.
It's the same concept.
So all of these ingredients that you see here, including the 2 bullet mixes, if I'm not mistaken, can be found at your local Piggly Wiggly and Cash Saver, 8410 Highway 182 North, 1305 Heather Drive.
Which is what location?
Mind your business. And you see, you got me off track. The phone number's there, 948-942-7-948-8199. You have me stuttering. If you can't find anything, just ask them. Like we always say, they will be more than happy to order it for you or help you find it in the stores.
So if I want to call Cash Saver, what number would I call?
We are about to run out of time. So listen, if
The
you call
correct answer
either one of
is
those numbers,
948-8199.
if you call either one of those numbers, I promise you they will help
They'll get you in touch with the
and
store,
they will
yeah.
get you in touch with the store you want to get in touch with.
Promise you that.
So
Teal, thank you for a great job again.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Thank you,
Appreciate it. Thank
Teal.
y'all for having
It's
me.
always a
And,
good show when you come.
Yep, we will do another one now
Always.
that I'm retired.
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Congrats on that too.
Yep.
And,
Happy
We're
retirement.
looking forward to some more. So.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Y'all join us back next time for more What's Cooking.